It starts like any other workday. Trains running, coffee machines hissing, office lights flicking on floor by floor. Then a phone call hits a construction site and everything changes. Work halts mid-drill. Hard hats turn toward a hole in the ground. Radios crackle. Within minutes, police tape appears. Within an hour, the city center is emptying out. Not because of a riot, not because of a storm, because construction workers uncovered something buried for decades. Something so dangerous that the safest move wasn't to handle it carefully. The safest move was to shut everything down and get everyone out. Stay with this video until the end to find out about the one hidden mechanism inside these discoveries that makes bomb squads treat them like ticking clocks. Sometimes even when the timer stopped more than 70 years ago. Tonight's story is about the kinds of things cities don't like to admit are still under their streets. Forgotten tunnels, sealed basements, old infrastructure. And most chilling of all, unexploded bombs from wars. People assume are long finished. Our main case takes us to a modern European city where construction crews unearthed a massive World War II bomb, one of the largest types ever dropped, forcing an evacuation so big it looked like an instant ghost town. Then we'll go wider. How often this happens, why it keeps happening, and why a single buried object can still paralyze a major city in the 21st century. Construction work is routine until it isn't. You're cutting a trench for utilities, drilling for foundations, or stabilizing ground for a new development. Then the bucket scrapes metal, or the scan shows a perfect oval where no oval should exist. Workers are trained to stop immediately because one mistake can trigger disaster. Heavy machinery can strike a fuse, vibration can shift a detonator, or a careless hit can crack old explosive casing. On this day, the discovery wasn't small. It wasn't a rusted pipe or a harmless relic. It was an aerial bomb. Huge, heavy, built for maximum blast, the kind of thing designed to flatten a city block. And the worst part is how ordinary it looks at first. A long, rusted cylinder. No flashing light, no noise, no warning label screaming, "Run!" Just a quiet object that has been waiting under the street since your grandparents were children. Here's the question everyone asks. Why evacuate an entire area? Why not just send in specialists, carry it out, and continue the day? Because a bomb like this isn't just an explosion, it's physics. A large World War II blockbuster bomb can produce a blast wave strong enough to shatter windows and collapse weak structures, and its casing can fragment into high-velocity shrapnel. That danger radius is not a few meters. It can stretch across neighborhoods depending on bomb size, soil type, and surrounding buildings. Now add modern city reality. Hospitals, schools, transit lines, dense apartment blocks, tunnels, underground parking, gas lines, electrical conduits, fiber cables. A single detonation doesn't just kill, it rips the nervous system out of a city. So authorities do the only responsible thing. They clear the area, they close roads, they stop trains, they reroute buses, they knock on doors and tell people to leave immediately. And yes, it feels surreal. People in 2025 evacuating because of a weapon dropped in the 1940s. But cities across Europe still sit on the buried leftovers of mass bombing campaigns. Many bombs detonated, some didn't. And the ones that didn't become a long-term lottery nobody wants to win. One of the clearest examples of a full shutdown moment happened in Frankfurt, Germany in 2017. Construction work near the city uncovered a massive British aerial bomb, reported widely as a blockbuster-class device. The response was immediate and enormous. Authorities evacuated roughly 65,000 people, one of the largest bomb-related evacuations in Germany since World War II. Think about what that number means. It's not a street. It's not a building. It's not a few blocks. That's a moving city inside a city. People leaving homes, hotels emptying, emergency services coordinating shelters, traffic being redirected, public transit disrupted, and major roads sealed off. Even if you're nowhere near the construction site, you feel it because the urban machine depends on uninterrupted flow. Shut one artery and everything reroutes. And then there's the psychological weight of it. People don't evacuate because they saw smoke. They evacuate because a specialist looked at a corroded object and said, "This can still kill you." That's the moment the ancient past becomes present again. Not history, but active risk. Explosives aren't like fruit that goes bad and becomes harmless. Some become unstable as they age. Metal corrodes, seals degrade, chemical components crystallize, moisture seeps into parts that were never meant to be wet, and the ground itself shifts. Freeze and thaw cycles, heavy vehicles, construction vibrations, tiny earthquakes. Many World War II aerial bombs contained high explosives like TNT, amatol, or similar mixtures. They can remain intact for decades, especially when buried in soil that slows oxygen exposure. The casing rusts, but the explosive filler can stay dangerously potent. Now consider the fuse, the most sensitive part. A fuse can include springs, pins, percussion caps, chemical delay elements, mechanisms designed to trigger detonation after impact, or after a delay, or if tampered with. Some bombs were designed not only to explode, but to punish the people who tried to remove them. That's not a conspiracy theory, it's military logic. If you can delay detonation, you disrupt rescue and repair operations. If you can booby-trap the bomb, you endanger disposal teams. So even when a bomb didn't explode, it didn't become inactive. In some cases, it became a sealed threat that is unpredictable once disturbed. Bomb disposal isn't a dramatic cut-the-red-wire moment. It's engineering under stress. First comes identification, shape, size, likely origin, and what fuse type it may contain. Then comes risk modeling, how far to evacuate, what structures might funnel blast pressure, what underground utilities sit nearby, whether a detonation could cause secondary disasters like gas fires. Then comes the hardest part, access. The bomb is often in wet soil, half buried, jammed under rubble, or near water. Crews may have to excavate around it carefully without striking it. They stabilize it. They may build protective barriers. They keep the area secure for hours. Finally, they attempt defusal, removing the fuse, neutralizing it, or in some cases performing a controlled detonation if defusal is too risky. That last decision is why shutdowns can last an entire day. The public sees a bomb found. The professionals see a chain of failure points they must prevent one by one. The most chilling detail is this. For certain fuse types, simply moving the bomb can be more dangerous than leaving it in place, because the act of disturbance can wake up mechanisms that were stuck for decades. Frankfurt is not unique. Germany, the UK, France, and many other countries still discover unexploded ordnance regularly, especially during major infrastructure projects. Berlin sees frequent UXO finds. Cologne has had large evacuations. In 2012, in Munich's Schwabing district, an old bomb was so unstable that disposal teams ended up performing a controlled detonation that produced a massive fireball, an event captured in widely circulated footage that still shocks viewers today. These incidents underline a harsh reality. Cities are layered. Modern streets sit on older streets. New apartments sit on old basements. Train lines cut through zones that were once industrial targets. And beneath all that, there are objects that do not belong in peacetime. It's one of the few ways the 1940s can reach into your day and physically stop it. There's a reason these discoveries spike during construction booms. A city expanding outward tends to hit fresh ground, but a city rebuilding inward, redeveloping old industrial land, replacing older infrastructure, digging deeper foundations, starts intersecting the layers where bombs fell. Modern projects also dig differently. They use deeper pilings, broader excavations, and heavier machinery. They clear areas that were previously untouched because older building methods didn't require going that far down. Add better detection tools, magnetometers, ground scanning, archival bombing maps, and you get a strange paradox. The better we get at building the future, the more often we bump into the weapons of the past. When people hear that a bomb discovery shut down a city, they imagine panic. But the real story is systems. A major evacuation triggers everything: emergency planning, mass communication, traffic control, public transport reroutes, hospital planning, even pet shelters. Businesses close not because they're afraid, but because they have to. Airports and rail lines can be affected. Tourists get moved. Entire neighborhoods become silent. It's a temporary blackout of normal life, caused by something that had no business still being there. And in that silence, the scale of history hits harder than any textbook. You can walk through an emptied district and realize this is what war leaves behind. Not only trauma, not only ruins, but hidden objects that still demand obedience. Here's the detail you stayed for: delayed action and anti-handling fuses. Some World War II bombs used long delay mechanisms, sometimes chemical, intended to detonate minutes, hours, or even days after impact. The goal was to disrupt repairs and rescue efforts and keep civilians and crews terrified of the second explosion. Other fuses were designed to trigger if tampered with. If the fuse was unscrewed, if pressure changed, if vibration occurred, if a safety mechanism was disturbed. Over decades underground, corrosion can make these systems unpredictable. A fuse that was safe because it was jammed can become unsafe when it's moved. A chemical component that should have finished reacting long ago can remain partially active in sealed conditions. That's why bomb squads treat many of these discoveries like traps that never stopped being armed. The war ended, the physics didn't. The most unsettling part of this story isn't that a bomb was found, it's that a city in the modern world can still be forced to obey a weapon buried by history. Roads emptied, trains stopped, neighborhoods cleared, because something from the past still has the power to end lives instantly. If you want more stories where hidden discoveries halt modern life, tell me in the comments. Would you rather uncover a lost tunnel system under your city, or a device that forces everyone to evacuate within the hour? Subscribe and ring the bell for the next deep dive. Because the ground under our streets isn't just dirt and stone, it's a storage vault for the things history never cleaned up.